the ultimate question here is whether or not Trump expectations of growth accelerating can trump the cycle itself. So again, we've talked a lot about this. I'm going to have to probably, can you guys see this sine curve if I draw underneath here?
Yep.
Maybe Josephine, if you go to slide 13 in the macro deck too, quickly. Keep the black line in your mind and the cyclical move in your mind. Cyclicals peak, GDP peaks. That was the growth slowing cycle. That's what we got right. That's why we made so much money long bonds and gold. Okay? So now back to me. All right? So black line, red line. Got that? Black line, red line. That's the industrials. Okay? The industrials had slowed in here to a recession already in Q4. That's why a lot of industrial companies told you that they had to guide down to kind of like flattish revenue growth, if that. What the market's done, and GDP all the while, as you know, went from 3.3% to 1.5%. So this caught up to this. This industrial production growth was actually, I think, -1 something. Industrial production growth is negative. GDP is down to 1.5. So the last part of this show is consumer discretionary slowing, healthcare slowing, employment slowing. So that's before the election and upon Trump's election, and after the election, that's still the economic data. What the market's expecting now, if the market's right, and I'm not going to say we're wrong, because I'm saying I would say that the market could be right. I just haven't changed my mind on it entirely yet. Is that the main GDP cycle is not going to go down to here. It might go a little bit further, but what's really going to happen is that this recession and cyclical is going to go up here. Now that's one hell of a move, okay? And it's got a lot of different things that have to happen, for that to actually meet what the expectations are. Because of course, in as much as cyclicals are late indicators, like these things are rather early indicators, sorry. Cyclicals peaked. We call them cyclicals because they peak first. They bottom first, okay? So that's why people are buying cyclicals and not Apple and Amazon. Make sense? Comprende? Muchacho. If your name's not Muchacho, because life's going to be a little bit more difficult for people named Muchacho, south of the border. If you're invested in those assets, I mean, God knows nobody's talking about their emerging market bullish charts anymore. There's a lot that could happen here. What happens if GDP slows to 0.5 and the market doesn't care? I talked about this all day yesterday in the Midwest. I'll talk about it tomorrow, all day at the macrocosm. There's a huge, hopefully I'm explaining this to you properly, because this is clear. This is very clear in my mind. What I do next is not clear, but I understand precisely what the market is pricing in. The market is pricing in that the industrials are done being in a recession. They're going to lead us into the next recovery, and big government spending by the big Trump man is going to be the catalyst for that. So that's what I think about GDP.